So the paste is pretty much dry. I'm just going to take my rag here and I'm going to wipe it off. Now you want to be careful because you're working with the board here. You don't want to be too aggressive with it, or you don't want to snap any of this stuff off. So you want to be quite careful with it. But at the same time, don't be afraid of it. It's not going to. They're built pretty sturdy, so it shouldn't just fall apart in your hands. I'm just going to take a bit of the spray and wipe that off, and then we'll put our new 72-pin connector back on there. Just wipe that down. Same with the other side, we'll just wipe it down. Alright, and we're going to take our non-static rag here and we're just going to wipe it off. Okay, and as you can see, it's pretty dirty on there, so if it needs a second coat, or if you're just using rubbing alcohol or copper cleaner, just rub that off until you're not getting as much black stuff. Before we put the new 72-pin connector back on, I'd like to show you how to disable your lockout chip. The chip was designed by Nintendo to keep certain gaming companies from building games for the Nintendo. In order to build a game for the Nintendo, you were required to pay Nintendo a fee, and then they would allow you to build games for their system. There were quite a few companies, though, that refused to pay Nintendo the fee and would just build the games for the system. So Nintendo came up with this chip called the Lockout chip, which made sure that any company that built a game that didn't pay them wouldn't be able to play their games on their system. Now this right here is your Lockout chip. You can see this is the RF unit, these are your contacts here, and this little guy is your Lockout chip. Now I'm gonna try and get in a bit closer here, but you're going to see that you've got your little contacts here on the side that go down to the board. So you're going to want to count 1, 2, 3, 4 in. Your fourth contact in there is the contact that doesn't allow you to play your unlicensed games. So all you need to do is take a small pair of pliers, needle nose, or a small pair of scissors, something like that, and you're just going to want to pry that little contact right out of there. Just break it off and sever that connection, and then you should be able to play any of your unlicensed games with no problems. Now we're just going to take our new 72-pin connector and we're going to install it. As you can see, one part of your 72-pin connector sticks out farther than the other. The piece that sticks out farther is the piece that reads the games, so you want that piece to be on top. You can see that the bottom piece here has 2 rows of contact readers. That goes on the bottom. That attaches to the board here. Alright? You want to take your board, make sure that your the side with all the chips on it is down. Okay? And make sure that your side with the 2 contact readers is down. We're just going to turn that around there. We're just going to take it and we're just going to slide it right in there. Now you have to give it a bit of a push. It should be fairly tight. If it's tight, it's going to read those contacts properly. So you should have a bit of a time trying to slide it on there. So we're just going to set our board aside for a moment, and we're going to start from the bottom and go work our way up. This is our bottom. It's empty now. This is where the Windex comes in. You're going to want to take your Windex bottle and you just want to spray this whole thing out. Use a rag and just get all the large open areas with your rag and just clean them all off. Now the special areas that you want to be careful for are just kind of in these corners here where it gets kind of bad, and you want to get in the little slits here. These are your intake slits, so this is where the air comes in to cool your system, and this is where most of the dust comes in as well. You're also going to want to clean out inside here so that when you put your buttons and everything back in, you're not putting them right back into a dirty slot here. Alright? On the outside, you're going to want to clean up under here, and you're going to want to clean out in here, as well as these areas here. You want to make sure are fairly clean so that again, when you put your stuff in, you're not putting it into a dirty area. Now we're going to take our controller ports, and you want to remember that the shorter one goes on the right. We'll just slide that in from the outside. Now you want to give your controller ports a quick clean too, but you know, they're pretty small, they don't take a whole lot, so you just go around, clean them up as best you can. You can clean the wires down quick too if you want, but these things, they don't usually get too bad. So we're just going to pop those back in. Should just slide in like that, and we're going to turn it up, and we're going to put our there we go. We're going to put the cover back on, and we're going to take our 2 screws, re-screw that in. Now you want to clean your cover as well before you put it back on. Just give it a quick wipe, and that should look fairly new when you set it back on there. It should be pretty shiny and good. Now before we put these back on, again, just give your buttons a quick wipe. Give it a quick wipe down in here, clean out the metal area there, and down here as well. Just give that a quick wipe down. Usually this doesn't get too dirty either, so you don't have to worry too much about it. That just slides right back into there. It should sit right there. And we're just going to screw that back in as well. Now if you've got a magnetic screwdriver, it would be probably quite handy, because trying to get these screws back into some of these places can be a bit of a pain. Okay, now I've got that cleaned out. We're going to take our board again. Alright, we're going to take the protective cover. Now this usually doesn't get that dirty, doesn't get that dusty. Dust doesn't seem to stick to these, so just give it a quick wipe if you you know, if you need to. If you see that there's a bit of a dirty area, you can wipe it down. And we're just going to set that like this. Okay, you can see the hole here is to fit this piece here, comes right through, and these are your connector ports here. So this should just fit right on there. So the next piece we're going to put on is the game loader here. As you can see, this is where your games slide in, and you push it down to start your system. This is pretty important to get clean, because there's no point in putting in a clean game into a dirty loader, because it'll just dirty up your game, dirty up your 72-pin connector, and then you got to do this all over again right away. So get this piece really clean. Use your rag to get the big pieces, and then make sure you got a couple of holes here. You want to make sure you get those clean. Just get in the corners. And you see there's holes on the other side as well. Get in there. And the other place that gets really quite dirty is under here, in this little lip down here. So just take your Windex, your Q-tip, get in there, clean that out. And anywhere else that you see any dust buildup, you want this piece to be as clean as you can get it before you slide it on. So once you've cleaned this, we're going to slide it in and connect it to the board. This is your 72-pin connector here, and it's going to connect right into here. So we're just going to slide that on. Now you can see that it's got a little ridge here on either side. You want to make sure that that goes on top of your wings here on your 72-pin connector. Okay. So it should just sit down. Just get this lip on top of your 72-pin connector, and it should just slide right in. There you go. Might take a bit of a shove, but you shouldn't have any real problems with it. Now I'm going to show you here. It's not quite on yet, and I'm not sure if you can see it. Here, we'll pop that up. Now you've got this little lip that sticks out here. You want to make sure that that goes over top of your board. So you're going to pull that we're going to pull that toward us, and we're going to push. There you go. And it should slide on top. That keeps this piece here from lifting and and breaking anything off.